Hey, we are back again with another video, a vlog, another read it or unhaul it video. A lot of you have asked about Bookshelf Ultimatum. Listen, I am coming out of a slump, so I don't need somebody else telling me what to read to put me right back into the slump. I am the biggest mood reader. I need to read what I am in the mood for in this moment in time, or I am not gonna read. I am not gonna read, I'm gonna tell you that. We'll do a Bookshelf Ultimatum once I am fully healed from this book slump. So this is a read it or unhaul it vlog. Now I know what you're thinking. What makes it extreme, Beth? Why did you title it Read It or Unhaul It Extreme Edition? Because listen, my current count, my current unread physical books on my shelves count is 616 unread books. I thought it would be fun to challenge myself to get to 599 unread books. So in this video, I have to get to 599 unread books by the end of the month. So today is what? Oh my gosh, I took my phone out of my case. It's in the other room. Today is Monday. I'm pretty sure it's the 12th. So I have a little over half a month to get through 17 books. And it can go pretty quickly if I choose books that I think I'm not going to like and I just unhaul them. You know what I mean? Like I DNF them and just get rid of them. Could go pretty quickly. It could go, it could be intense. And I keep picking up books and I'm like, yes, I must finish this. I'm not going to be picking up a big tome. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be picking up things like thrillers and romance books and things like that. I say that in one of the books that I'm reading is almost a 600-page book. But listen, okay, listen. I also want to say that if a book comes in the mail and I keep it, I have to include those in my tally. So if I read my first book that I'm reading today, right, if I'm reading this and then I finish it and the number goes to 615 and then tomorrow a book comes in the mail, my number goes back to 616 because it goes on my shelves and it's unread. And you know what I'm saying? So we're going to be having to do math in this video. It's going to be challenging, but we're going to get through it. We're gonna get through it, okay? And I will tell you this right here, right now. I have 2 pre-orders coming in the month of May. So that means I already know I gotta get through 19 books in this video because I have 2 pre-orders coming in. One coming in this week, one coming in, I think the week after next. I feel like we can do it though. I feel like we can do it. So enough chitter chattering and pitter pattering. I have a lot of stuff to do around the house today, so I need an audiobook, and I have an audiobook currently that I've got from Libby that I also have the physical book for, and it's this one right here. So I'm going to start this one today. It's called Watching You by Lisa Jewell. I don't know what this is about. Lisa Jewell is very hit or miss for me. I either really love and constantly recommend her books, or I really hate them and question myself as to why I still own them on my shelves. I don't know where this one's gonna go, where it's gonna lead me to, but we're gonna start this today. I think it's just about, honestly, from the cover and the title, I think it's about stalking. But we're gonna see. This is what I'm gonna start today. When I get a good way into it, I will come and of course give you a Beth kind of synopsis. And then I'm also reading a book at nighttime on my Kindle. So at nighttime I like to lay down, elevate my feet, give me a little drinky drink, and read on my Kindle for like 30 minutes to an hour before I go to sleep. And I am currently reading All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I'm only 5% in. This is a beefy bitch, but you know what? This is a slow burn, so I've heard. I've never read anything by Mariana Zapata, but let me tell you what, I am all down for some slow burn because I love a book where there's angst, there's tension, maybe some banter, where they're like brushing hands, getting butterflies, things like that. I don't know. And then at the very end, they fall for each other at the end, happily ever fucking after. That's what I love. Okay, that's what I love. In this day and age, every book is like second chapter, he's already whipping his out, and I'm just like, are you serious right now? So I'm excited to get back into that one, or get back into that one because I did start it 5% in, but I'm reading it at nighttime. It is a very thick book. It's probably going to take me all month to finish it, but we'll see. That's it. That's my intro and what's going on today. I don't have my phone to see what time it is, so because I gotta leave here about 1:30 to go get my daughter. Oh, next week is my daughter's last day of school, and then we enter into summer. That's gonna be fun. That's the intro. That's what I'm reading, and I'll update you in a bit. I am 25% into Watching You by Lisa Jewell, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key kind of bored. I'm gonna continue on. The thing is this is gonna be so silly, but like if I have an author's work, I don't have all of Lisa Jewell's books, but I have a good amount. It's like I don't want to have to unhaul part of them. That's weird. Is it weird? It's not weird. That's not weird. That's probably normal, huh? It's just my brain. Okay, I'm kind of bored, but I'm gonna keep going because I am intrigued. I really want to know like what happened because of the beginning. Let me just catch you up. So first off, at the very beginning of the book, there's a diary entry. And let me read it to you. And this diary entry was written 20 years ago, okay? It says, "Dear diary, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel. Is this normal? He's an adult. He's twice my age. There's no way. No, there's no way, but oh God, I wish there was. I think I'm in love with my English teacher." And that's like the little diary entry. And then the next page, it's like 20 years later. So I don't know what adult that came from. I have a feeling, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, it's like 20 years later. This takes place in a very bougie town in England, okay? And in one of the Victorian homes, it's the Fitzwilliam home, a body is found. We don't know who this body is. We know who it's not because we get, you know, some perspectives of some people after the fact, but we don't know who it is. So in between each chapter, we do get like a snippet of an interview between a character and like a police officer or whatever, but we get 3 different main perspectives. So our first perspective, her name is Joey. She's in her 20s. She is a newlywed. Her husband, his name is Alfie. They got engaged pretty fast shortly after dating and got married really quickly right after that. So they've not been together long at all. And something has happened in Joey's life to where her and Alfie move back to this town, and they move in with Joey's brother and his pregnant wife. So they're like, you know, staying at somebody else's house in this neighborhood. Now Joey has noticed a neighbor, Tom Fitzwilliam. She's noticed him. She is intrigued by him, and she very quickly becomes obsessed with him. So that's Joey, okay? She's also questioning her marriage. Like that's how obsessed with him she is, to the point where she's like, I am literally married to the most perfect man. Like you could not get any more perfect. Why do I want to touch another man? And then she's also like, doesn't know her purpose in life. So she's kind of going through it. Okay, so that's Tom Fitzwilliam. He's the dad of the Fitzwilliams. That's the house where the body was found. We do not get his perspective, but he's talked about a lot in this book. So Tom is an English teacher. Tom has a wife and Tom has a son, and his son is Freddie. We do get the perspective of Freddie. Now, Freddie is very, very, very intelligent, okay? He is too intelligent for his little body to kind of like keep him busy, because you know, like the smarter your kid is, the harder it is to keep him busy. So to keep him busy, his parents like bought him stuff to become a spy or whatever, and he just kind of like went with it. And so he would use it to like spy on neighbors and such. At first it started out with just people walking their dogs, and if their dogs shit in somebody else's lawn and they didn't pick it up, he noted it down. Somebody stealing from somebody else's lawn, he noted it down. Things like that. And then he got pretty bored with that. And so then he started like people watching, kind of, in the sense that he has noticed Joey noticing his dad. And he's also noticed another girl. A girl, they don't go to the same school. The girl goes to his dad's school. Now her name is Jenna. We get the perspective of Jenna. So Jenna has this uncomfortable like feeling that somebody is stalking her and watching her, and she is very convinced that it is Tom Fitzwilliam, the dad. Jenna lives at home with her mother. Her mother is not doing so great. She is spiraling, and so Jenna's dealing with that as well. And so those are the kind of the people that we are following along. And because we don't get Tom's perspective, it makes it a little more interesting, because I feel like we don't really like know the full story, because Tom is involved in all of the perspectives. It's his essential stalker, and then his son, and then what we assume Tom is stalking Jenna, but we don't really know. So that's where we're at. I'm 25% in. I'm gonna keep going, but I feel like around the 50-60% mark, if it doesn't fully like grasp me, I might have to DNF. I don't know. Right now I'm just like sitting at that You know what I mean? My husband is on his way home, so I'm gonna go get dinner started and all this, that, and the other. I am listening to this on audio. I am a slow audiobook reader. I prefer my audiobooks. I'm gonna just slide that right there. I prefer my audiobooks at like 1.5 speed. So even sometimes even a little lower than that. If the person is a good storyteller and I like their accent or the way they talk or something, I will slow it down so I can like hear them talk to me. If I'm listening to my audiobook cooking, I want it to feel like you're standing beside me telling a story while I'm brewing up the gumbo or whatever the fuck. We ain't having that tonight. We're having stroganoff. But still, I really got to get this book room. Guys, let me show you this book room really quick. I got to get it situated because look, you can even see a little glimpse there. This is sad. This is sad. You agree? As I'm turning my camera on my stomach, she is growling. We gotta make some breakfast. Today we're getting a late start on this vlog because I had to go back up to my daughter's school. And if you know that that's like a 45-minute round trip. Okay, we live in the sticks. The school is it's far away. So we're back from that. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Today I was gonna do like a lazy bones day and not do anything and just, you know, rot on the couch while I play Animal Crossing and read books via audio, you know, 2 for 1. But there is no but. I mean, I got dressed because I had to go to my kid's school, but other than that, that's what we're gonna do. That is the plans today, okay? That's like the first half of the plans. We're gonna be finishing watching you because I did make some more progress into this. I got about like 56% in, and I've decided to continue on because I do feel like if this goes the way I think it's gonna go, it could get a little dark. I'm kind of sad that it hasn't like got there yet because I feel like Lisa could have definitely have done that. I do feel like she's doing it more in her newer books. So like she's catching on to Beth's ways, to Beth's craves. I don't know. I did get 56% in. I do think that Mr. Fitzwilliam is up to something. Okay, and okay, so I feel like, so listen. Beth, get your thoughts together. First off, he's obsessed with Jenna's best friend. It seems that way anyway. He's either like trying to, you know, or he's getting close to her to get close to Jenna. I don't really know. But anyway, what I do know is, remember how I told you Jenna's mom was not doing so well and she was kind of spiraling? So at the beginning of the book, she was saying stuff like Mr. Fitzwilliam, he can't be trusted. Don't go outside when he's cars out there, like things like that, just weird stuff. And Jenna just kind of like tossed that aside, thinking it was just some stories that she's been making up. But then one day, Jenna notices his watch and something clicks in her brain and she remembers that back when her and her mom went on vacation, there was a woman who was screaming, saying like, oh, you can't trust him, he's dangerous, like you can't trust him, like just screaming bloody murder. And it was Mr. Fitzwilliam. But it didn't click in her brain until she like recognized the watch, because it was like a very distinct, she has never seen that kind of watch before kind of watch. Anyway, this then gets confirmed by a few different other characters that it was actually him. Even he himself says, like, yeah, we went on vacation and that lady was psycho. Like, we don't even trust her. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, he was like, she made that up. So he's up to something. I don't know. But then part of me is like his wife could be kind of weird too. I don't know. Maybe she's up to something. But then also Joey's sister-in-law is kind of off as well. I don't know. People just be off. As in, I don't trust them. I'm going to make my breakfast this morning and then I'm going to dreamy hunt because I'm back on my Animal Crossing grind. And so right now I'm like trying to collect stuff for my island to like decorate it. I kind of want to do like farm core. I don't know, but not with like the farm animals, because I don't know what it is, like the cows and the pigs and stuff, they're ginormous. So I kind of want the cute and cuddly little villagers. So I had a villager move out and I need to fill her plot before it fills itself today. So I'm going to go dreamy hunting. Why? If you play Animal Crossing, you get it. So anyway, I finished the book. I was just browsing on Goodreads to see what other people had to say about it, because I was like, what does other people have to say about it? I should have DNF'd it. I should have DNF'd it at like 25% and just Googled what happened at the end, because it was such a letdown, which is crazy. I don't know if I'm broken or if maybe my taste for thrillers is just super specific. Books like this just don't hit for me. And I was just looking on Goodreads, and the amount of people that gave this book 5 stars, 4 stars, new Lisa Jewell favorite, blah, 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 blah. I was kind of like, is this the right, did I read the wrong book? Here's my main thing, is like the ending. What I was expecting to happen didn't, I mean, it kinda, but not really. Just think of it like this. If you are a spice reader, okay, and you read romance books and you live the spice, which I love that for you, okay, and you pick up a book and you're reading it and you finally, you know, it's a slow burn, they finally get to the good-ish, and it's just the girl telling her homegirl about what happened last night. That's kind of what happens in this book. We weren't there for the juiciness. This book was so slow and so boring, and like I was expecting it to have like some sort of bang at the end, like some lead up, something. And then we get to the end and it's just like she's writing a letter to someone and she kind of tells what happened. She tells the truth of what happened. The end. And I'm just like, I wanted to be there. The fuck? You put me all through that just for me not to even be there? I had to hear it from Suzanne? From Linda? I like to have murder on page. If we're gonna do some dirty stuff, let me be there, okay? If you're gonna put me through some boring ass shit, at least let me get some blood on my shoes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving this 2 stars. Could you tell I didn't like it? So we started this video out with 616 unread books. We are currently sitting at 615 unread books. The next book that I want to pick out, I want it to be something that I feel like is going to make me go fast. It's going to be the kind of book that's going to make me not want to pick up my phone. I want it to be something like that. So I need to browse and think about it. I'm about to leave and go get my daughter, and while we're driving there, I feel like I'm just gonna listen to music. Okay, we're just gonna vibe. Also, a little update on my island. My island, its name is Rosewood, and I have been trying to find a cutie character all day today. I've used over 60 Nook Miles tickets. Haven't found any. I did come across Stitches. I almost snatched him up, but he's on my husband's island, so I didn't. I've been playing Animal Crossing for a few hours. That's all I've been doing today. I have our package here. I really should probably care about my appearance. Oh well. So let's see what we got. I got my little Aura ring sizing kit so I can know what size I need. But the book is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Best-selling author. Have I read anything by this author? No. But I hear great things. I hear he's like grimdark. Is that what it's called? And some people say like with my taste in thrillers and stuff and how like I prefer really dark content, that he writes that for the fantasy world. So holy work sometimes requires unholy deeds. Okay, so this, my friends, puts our total back at 616 unread books. Okay. I think I'm gonna read this. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. It is not small by any means. It is almost 400 pages long. Should I pick this one or should I pick something different? I would love to be the girly pop that wakes up in the morning and gets fully dressed every day. I would love that. But one, I'm about to go on my hot mom walk and I ain't gonna get dressed before that, obviously. That's why we're in this attire. And then after that, I have to go, I don't have to, but I'm going to deep clean my kids' rooms and their bathroom. And to me, it seems super silly to like put makeup and do my hair and whatever just to go deep clean my kids' rooms and bathroom. So, and if you're asking yourself, Beth, why don't your kids clean their own room? They pick up sometimes, okay? But it's in dire need of a mom clean. And if you're a mom, you know the difference between a them clean and a mom clean. You know what I'm saying? I.e., a lot of shit needs to be thrown in the trash. Like all them Easter eggs that they got and they won't let me throw away because they play with them. They're getting thrown away today. Okay. So, anyway, I need to catch you up on my Animal Crossing. We're taking a break from Animal Crossing, okay? But I just want to let you know that after I let you go yesterday, I continued to play on my Switch, and I kid you not, used well over 150 Nook Mile tickets. It was 10 o'clock at night. I normally do not like play my Switch or whatever in bed. If I'm in bed and I'm awake, I'm on my Kindle. But I was determined to fill that slot before my island filled it for me. I found Raymond. Yep, I finally found Raymond, which he wasn't even a main villager that I was looking for, but I had him on my old island because I reset my island like a week ago. That's why I'm villager hunting. I liked him on my old island, and he's gonna be on my new island too because we like the cats. That's enough Animal Crossing talk. So now let's dive into the book. So I did get 26-ish% into Emily Henry's newest book. Is it called I done forgot the title, A Big Beautiful Life, A Great Big Beautiful Life, This Great Big Beautiful Life, whatever. 26-ish% into this, and so far, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm really glad that I picked it up because I'm really enjoying it. So in this book, we follow two characters. We have Alice, who is an aspiring writer. She does have a job as a journalist, but she like wants to get up there and like become a big time writer, you know? And then we have Hayden, who is the kind of like the grump of the story, and he also is a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, author, whatever you want to call it. Also, Alice, it's so cute because Hayden said something along the lines like, when I talk to you and tell you things, you look at me as if somebody's throwing a surprise party for you. Like, she's always like big smiles, and he's a grump, so that's kind of cute. But it's not like overly grumpy sunshine, if that makes sense. Anyway, so both of them go to this small island. I think it's called like Little Croissant, I believe, or Croissant. I don't know I'm gonna say it Croissant because that's how I'm gonna say it. Anyway, so they go to this little small island to try to get this opportunity to write this woman's biography. Her name is Margaret Ives, I believe. So Margaret used to be a very big like tabloid sensation situation. She's also an heiress, comes from a really rich, successful family. So in my mind, I'm picturing someone like Paris Hilton, you know, who kind of just got famous because of their bloodline, essentially. Margaret offers Alice and Hayden a 1-month trial where they take turns like interviewing her and asking her questions, and that's the same thing, Beth, about her past and such, and then she at the end of the 30 days is going to pick one of them to write her biography. She also makes each of them sign NDAs so that they cannot share with each other the information that they get from her or the questions or whatever. Like, they have to keep it to themselves, and they also can't share it with anybody else in the world either. So that's got to be a tough, like, I would have to tell somebody, truly. So Alice and Hayden are kind of gunning for the same job, and they are also battling with the fact that they're both low-key kind of attracted to each other. I am really enjoying that aspect of the story, but also I am enjoying the fact that we're like, there's other things going on in the story, and it isn't super romance heavy. I like these kind of books. These are my jam. I did see that this was kind of, what is her name? Reese Witherspoon, the Reese's Book Club. Didn't they say that this was like a thriller? It is kind of a mystery, but not real. 25% in, and it's not really a mystery yet. So I don't know like where that's supposed to come in, if that even, like, I feel like that was kind of a weird whatever. Anyway, so that's where I'm at in the book. Slay. Also, my Sephora order came in. Also slay. As well as my compression socks. Listen, if you're like, compression socks are for grannies, hi, my name is Beth and I'm your granny. No, they're also for athletes, okay? They're for athletes. And they're for people like me who have poor circulation in their legs. I digress. That's not what we're here about. That's not what we're here for. We're here for, my glasses are so dirty, I can't even focus on you. Sometimes I read books that there's so much I want to talk about and gossip about as if they are my next door neighbors. And then sometimes I read books and I'm like, there's not really much to talk about. You know what I mean? And that's this kind of book. We have our two characters, Alice and Hudson. They're starting to fall for each other and like admit it to themselves. And then now they're in like a little tift situation. Is it tift? Is that the word? Where he got upset with her because she wouldn't speak up for herself and tell her mom how she felt about the way her mom treated her. And I think it's because he low-key, you know, loves her. And so he's like, Ain't nobody gonna be fucking with my girl like that. And they kind of got in an argument, and now they're not speaking to each other. He literally was like, goodbye, Alice. And then that was it. And so then she goes back to the old lady, and the old lady was talking to her about him. I don't want to tell you the whole story. The only downside so far, I feel like, is sometimes when we're learning about Margaret and her past, I find myself not giving a fuck. You know, like at first I was into it, and then now I'm just like, okay, let's get to what we're gonna get to. Like, what is the mystery? I don't see a mystery at all. Like, I don't, like, what is the mystery? This book is labeled as like a mystery. I don't see the mystery. Where is it at? The mystery itself is a mystery. So that's where we're at, 65%. If I were to guess right now, I would say, I know for sure this is not going to be my favorite Emily Henry. I can tell you that much. I think it's probably going to be like, I don't want to say it. Like, People We Meet on Vacation is my least favorite Emily Henry book. I feel like I do need to do it justice and reread it. Listen, here's the thing. I read Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation back to back. Let me correct myself. I listened to the audiobooks back to back. I enjoyed Beach Read. Okay, and then when I dove into People We Meet on Vacation, it's by the same narrator. And so I was picturing the same exact characters from Beach Read, and people, like, there was the same characters because it was the same voices, the same narrator, whatever. And I felt like that was kind of like what dampened my experience with People We Meet on Vacation. So then the rest of Emily Henry's books I've read physically. And then this is Great Big Beautiful Life. Is that what it's called? I'm like going back and forth between audio, and then sometimes I'll pick up the book, and it's the same narrator as People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read. She's a good narrator. She's not a horrible narrator, but she narrates so many books to the point where it's kind of like I'm just reading about the same fucking characters, just a different it's a different year. I don't know. I feel like for me anyway, I like to physically read my romance books because I connect more with it. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, let me go put on some underwear. Wow, she's got a face on today. I had errands to run this morning, so I got dressed. You're welcome. I also finished Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and let's just say, I'm going to do a tier ranking video of Emily Henry's books. I want to do that. And because I feel like I see people's opinions all over the board. You know, some people are ride or die for Beach Read, and some people really fucking love Book Lovers. I feel like the only one that I don't ever really see people like, you know, go to war for is People We Meet on Vacation. And you know what? Samesies. Anyway, this isn't my least favorite Emily Henry, but it's not my favorite either. I will tell you this much. Had Margaret's life been more entertaining, like, I wanted it to be juicy, or even like, I don't know, it gives, let me close the door, you can hear my son playing with his Legos. So like, it gives Taylor Jenkins Reid, it also gives City of Girls, that book City of Girls, but both of those ladies, they're in their 80s, they're being interviewed, whatever, but they have such interesting lives that you wanted to keep reading, versus this one, Margaret's life just was not interesting, and I did not care. I fear I did not care. I fear I would have, ooh, sorry, I just cracked open a Diet Coke and I burped a little bit. I feel like I would have enjoyed it more had we got the sisters side of the story. Like, the sister was even like involved in some, never mind, I'm not gonna say it because, okay. If you read the book, you know. I feel like it would have been better to get the sisters' interview and life story, but I digress. I'm giving it 4 stars. And with this read, it brings our total to 615. 615, babe. We got some work to do. It's the 15th. So we have like, how many days are in May? I don't know how to math, and I don't know how to calendar. And I am also being so good and not buying books. I am not buying books, and it's also like a little treat because like normally, like when I have like fun money, girl, I want to buy some books because that's what I like. But I bought some makeup because I needed to like replenish on some things. I also got me some new earrings because a lot of my earrings are like, you know, they're not doing it for me anymore. And then I also got me a new hair tool. So I mean, books sometimes can be cheaper than some stuff, you know. Let's pick our next book. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. And if you're like, that's random, listen, I have read every other book on this entire shelf. I've read them all. I've read them all except for this one book. And I don't know why I'm like, okay, that's a good reason for me to go ahead and read this one. Plus, I feel like it's Ashley Winstead's most popular book and I haven't read it yet. So this is what we're gonna read. My tripod is on its last leg. I feel like you're leaning. Hey. Okay, listen, I am like this close to going to sleep. I am so tired. It is too early. I can't put my kids to bed right now because if I do, it'll be too early and they'll be up at some weird ass hours of the night. Okay, so I have to hold on for at least another 45 minutes. I don't know what you're thinking, Beth. Literally 45 minutes, that's gonna make your kids wake up in the middle of the... Yes. Yes, it will. And I'm gonna talk to you about in my dreams, I hold a knife. Because I am 125 pages into this, yeah boy. So this is like a whodunit type book. It is also one of those books that's like a college reunion turned dark. I would say turned deadly, but I don't know if anybody dies. I know somebody has died in the past, but I don't know if anybody dies in the book. But knowing Ashley, Miss Winstead, possibly, which I've met her, and she is super sweet. And it's mind-boggling how she can come up with such dark material. I digress. So anyway, our main character, because this book follows one character, bless, love to see it. One character follows Jessica Miller. You know, a New Girl, if Nick and Jess, they got married, and Jess would change her last name. Jessica Miller. Okay, anyway. It follows Jessica Miller. It follows Jessica Miller, and Jessica, you know, she, in school, she was kind of a nobody, a fly on the wall, like, everybody overlooked her. You know, she didn't have best friends, none of that kind of stuff. So after she graduated college, she made it her mission to be that bitch. She made like partner at this firm that she's working at or whatever the fuck, I don't even know. I am not a corporate girly. I don't know positions. I mean, not you. Okay. Anyway, so she has like designer clothes now. She gets her hair done, her nails done, all that kind of stuff. Like, she is that bitch now. And she is ready to go when she gets the invite in the mail saying that, hey, it's your 10-year college anniversary. No, it's not called an anniversary. It's called a reunion. It is your 10-year college reunion. And so she's like, you know what, Bet? I'm going. I'm going. So she goes. But before she goes, she stops to talk to an old friend, a friend who was part of her friend group in college, okay? And this friend is not going to the 10-year, you know, oh my God, what is reunion? You know why? Because he was accused of killing another friend in their friend group named Heather back when they were in college. He didn't get like sentenced or anything like that because they couldn't prove him guilty, but the whole town and everybody like shunned him for it, you know? So he's like, yeah, I'm not going. And so she was talking to him. And anyway, so then she goes to this reunion. So anyway, she gets there and she like starts coming across old friends. She meets Caro, who was a girl in their friend group, and Caro is now engaged to a guy named Cooper, which Jessica feels kind of bitter about that because Jessica is still obsessed with him, in love with him after they had an affair back when they were in college. And then Mint shows up, who is another guy friend, and he shows up with his wife, and Jessica's like, that was her arch nemesis, was whoever the fuck Mint is now married to. We're already getting drama again at the class reunion. Now, we're also getting timeline from back in the day when they go to college. So we get them, you know, arriving at the college and slowly introducing themselves to each other, slowly having hookups and backstabbing and like shit talking about each other. So we're seeing how their friendship group is forming and this and the other. Now, we'll tell you as of right now, at 125 pages in, I don't know if I could guess who the killer is just yet. So there's that. I'm enjoying it, but I'm gonna take a break right now because I need to wake up. I am tired. I am about a little shy of being halfway into this book, and I finally, you know, like sometimes when, for me, Beth, slow your brain down. For me, when I'm reading a thriller, I'm always like keeping my peepers peeped. Is that a thing? I don't know why I keep saying that. Keeping my eye out for anyone that seems suspicious. So far, there hasn't been a particular person that I'm like, that's suspicious. I do actually think, I don't want to say it though because I don't want to spoil anything if it does happen to play out. But there's this one particular person that I think may have done it, but like on accident. And I know what you're thinking, like stabbing someone 17 times is not an accident, babe. I don't know. That's my theory. But right now, Miss Winstead is making us think a whole different thing. And if it turns out to be that, I don't think it will, because Ashley Winstead is pretty good at like making you think it's going to be this killer. Nope, it's going to be this killer. Psych, it's going to be this she's good at that. So I'm hoping it's not what she's like hinting at, because I feel like it would be a boring conclusion to the book. But anyway, I still got a lot of ways to go. Those are my only thoughts thus far. I will say, doing this vlog is making me not buy books, because I know I have a deadline of May 31st to get my TBR to $5.99. I know I need to read X amount of books. I don't want to keep adding more books to it, you know, and fail. If I fail, I'm still going to upload the vlog. You just won't know until I get to the end. And then I can tell you that I failed and I did not reach $5.99. But I'm doing so good. And I'm not buying anything. I do have the Stephen King book coming in though. When, is it next week? Does it come in next week or the week after? Oh, I don't even have my phone to Google it. But I will be reading that one immediately. The day that it is released. As soon as I'm done with whatever the book I'm currently reading that day, I'm picking up the new Stephen King book. Also, I have a book club, my book club, which is the Cereal and Milk book club. We're reading a book this month that is actually not on my TBR. I'm in my pajamas because I'm eating pizza. And listen, I did get dressed today, but a lot of the times when I eat food, my clothes become a catch-all, and I'm tired of it, okay? I'm tired of it. And pizza is just like one of those things that I'm always getting grease on me. So I put back on my jammies. Oh my God, I was just, okay, I interrupted myself and now I don't remember what I was talking about before I interrupted myself. Oh, reading a book for my Cereal and Milk book club that I do not have on my TBR. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna squeeze that into. So I need to get to some really short books or some DNFs to get ahead of the game. We need to like game plan when I'm done with this book. So it's been a few days. It's been a few days. Though you wouldn't have known that had I not said anything. But I'm not gonna lie to you, the past couple of days I just have not been in the mood to read anything. Nothing! So I've been kind of rotten playing my, I was gonna say Nintendo DS. Playing my Nintendo Switch on the couch and just watching TikTok and running errands. I did run errands and go shopping and stuff like that, but you don't care about all of that. What you're here for is the books. And I'm here to tell you, I did finish In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. Let me grab the book. It is right here. Ba-dum and pow. I will tell you this much. I do think I went into, oh, now I know it just, I had like a stray hair on my face and my dog is walking around huffing and puffing. If you hear him, I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the point, back to the story, back to the video. In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I do think I went into this with very high expectations because I feel like with Ashley Winstead's books, this is her most popular, her most loved out of them. And this is the last Ashley Winstead thriller for me to read. I've read her other works, and I'll say this is not my favorite. And I don't know if it's because I went in with such high expectations or if it's because I just genuinely liked some of the other ones better than this one. Though it's also not my least favorite either. I'm not even going to say it's pacing. I'm not even going to say it's the fact that most of this book was really slow. Because if I look at some of my all-time favorite books, they too are really slow. Like 11/22/63 by Stephen King. One of my all-time favorite books. Hella slow, but oh so delicious. You know what I mean? It's so good and rich and I just loved it. But this was slow in a different way and I don't know how to explain it. And I feel like I kind of kept getting pushed out of the story because a lot of the stuff, I don't know. But then also Ashley did such a great job with like tricking me and making me think that it's gonna be this. Psych, it's not that. Gonna be this. Psych, it's not that. Gonna be this. Psych, it's not that. It wasn't one of those thrillers that I dove into kind of already getting a feel of where it was going. I will give it that. It just, you know, a 5-star is, I just spit. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you the news and not the weather. Like, I feel like once you close the book, you know right then and there if it's going to be a 5-star. For me, anyway. I did kind of battle between giving it a 3.5 and a 4 because I do think the ending really did it justice. If the ending had been, I don't know, different, boring, obviously it wouldn't even be probably a 3-star. So I think I'm gonna settle on a 3.5. I'm gonna keep it on my shelves. I don't have to unhaul it. In these videos, if it's below a 3, I have to unhaul it. So this is above a 3 because I'm giving it a 3.5. It's not a bad book at all. It's not a bad book at all. I just, I think the culprit is the fact that I went into this book with such high, like stiletto high expectations. You know what I mean? We're done with this. So that puts us at, let me grab my little record because I done forgot. Here we go. 614 unread books. This is like my little record. If people ask all the time how I keep track. This is the most simplest type Z type of shit. I'm not that kind of girl. Literally just a legal pad. I probably need to buy a new one. At the top, I put whatever month it is, and then I put my starting number for the month. So it was at 6/19 I started. I read a book, so then it was 6/18. I read another book, so it was 6/17. I read another book, 6/16. You get it? And then if I bought the book, or if I have acquired the book, like somebody sent it to me, I put an A next to the book so I know to go up. So it went from 6/15 to 6/16, but then back down. You see, you get it? And so then I did 6/14 because I finished that. Literally all that I do. And then after I like record my book balancing on TikTok, rip it out, throw it in the trash, and start a fresh page. It is not that hard. I don't do any kind of spreadsheets. People are like, can I have a copy of your spreadsheet for your, babe? I can't even tell you how to make a spreadsheet. When I tell you I am not a type A, I am like a type Z. This is as organized as it's gonna get. You should see. Speaking of organized, let me show you. Also, I darkened my hair because whatever. It's just like one level darker. I was a 7 in and now I'm a 6 in. Anyway, whatever that means. Look at this room. Look at this room. Look at this mess. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at her. Look at her. I'm actually going to be getting a desk in here tomorrow and a desk chair. So hopefully this can be, these are some, not the front one here, but the other ones I got some new wall stuff this past weekend. Anyway, girl, yeah, this is how organized my life is. Part of me was gonna cheat today and pick up a bunch of really short books. I do have like 4 or 5 super short books. I'm talking like less than 200 pages to get us through. But the other part of me, look, I saw somebody on TikTok talk about John Mars and how he's like an underrated author and people only ever give him credit for the one but none of his other works and like blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what, Bet? I have another John Mars book on my bookshelf and that's what we're gonna read today. I have read one book by him and it is this book, okay? What Lies Between Us. This is the only John Mars book that I have read. I just said that, and it's 5 stars. I love this thriller. It's very underrated. It's quite dark, but so good. Nobody ever talks about it, so I do agree with her. The only book that I ever hear anybody talking about when it comes to John Mars is The One. So the book that I have on my bookshelf, I took it down earlier to read the synopsis, and I don't remember what I did with it. Please hold. The book is this book, The Passengers. And this is set in the same world as The One. So if you look on Goodreads, The One is labeled like whatever the world is, number 1. This is labeled number 2. I don't think that this spoils book 1 because I could be wrong. I have not looked into this. I probably should. Man or fact, let me look into this. Please hold. Okay, according to my intense research, i.e. a Google search, and I've only looked at one source. You can read this without reading the one. They are labeled like a series, but it's simply because they are all set in a near future speculative type world, but there's not any like character overlappage or spoilage, at least between the passengers and the one. I don't know about the other books. I think there's like 5 in this actual like little universe situation. I digress. So I'm gonna give it a go. All that I know about this is that these cars are the type of cars that nobody drives. They're like AI driven cars, and like the cars take some people hostage or something along those lines. Who lives? Who dies? You decide. Oh, so is this like a game type thing? So I've made it a good way into the book. I'm actually just fixing to stop and go make me a little lunch-a-roni. I've been obsessed with burger bowls, but like simplified. But I wanted to let you know on how the book is going. So this book is set in Britain in the near future. It's like a techno type thriller, which I do enjoy because I feel like, I say this and I think I've only read 2 others, but I feel like they're like faster paced and I really enjoy that. Like high stakes, you know? Okay. In this near future world, nobody drives. Even the city transportation bus, nobody's driving it. It is driven by AI. That's kind of creepy. To the point where they don't even have like full lanes because the computers do it all. And then also they don't really have many parking lots anymore because the car will drive you to work and then you send the car back home and the car will come and get you when it's time for you to get off. I feel like this could very well be in our future, you know what I'm saying? Like I already have extreme traffic anxiety. Whether I'm driving or I'm in the passenger seat, my anxiety goes up. Anyway, the story unfolds when 8 cars and their passengers get hijacked by a hijacker, by a, what do you call it? A hacker. So someone has hacked into the system and is controlling these 8 cars. What's so special about these 8 cars or these 8 people? The hacker himself said that he chose 6 of these 8 people very specifically. Now the other 2 people in the 8 were just wrong place, wrong time. They got into the taxis that have been hacked. So sucks to be them. So we have 8 people total that are being held hostage in their cars. It's essentially like a game to this hacker. I think there's more to it. I just haven't got there yet. Anyway, the hacker then uses Twitter to let the world decide who lives by playing a game, like a voting game. They're broadcasting this. The hacker's doing all of this. And the hacker tells them like, oh, this person, she's this, that, and the other, but, you know, she hates her kids. Or this person is homeless, has no job. What is he putting into society? This person, like, he feeds them these little lines about each of these people, but not enough to, like, really understand, whatever. And he gets people to vote. Who do you want to kill first? And people on Twitter are voting. They're making hashtags. They're saying, like, hashtag kill Clara. Hashtag rest in peace. Like, anyway, I think the whole thing behind this book is diving into the moral complexities of using AI and its potential for misuse. For example, people writing books using AI, and AI using other authors' work to give to these people that are using AI. You know what I mean? Ew. Shut the fuck up. You're joking. You're literally joking. We are starting to really get to know each of these hostages, and I had a feeling that there was a common denominator between at least the main 6. This is the second time in this book where I was baffled at the audacity. Almost done. We are on chapter 61 with, I was about to slap it shut. I don't have a bookmark. With The Passengers by John Mars, and I wanted to pop in really quick and just let you know how I can see a connection with The Passengers and The One. Now, I haven't read The One, as I mentioned earlier, but I do know the synopsis of One and like what The One is about. Essentially, there's like this whole dating thing that has to deal with DNA, and they can find your like one true match that you're supposed to be with if you like submit it in your DNA and blah, blah, blah. Some of the characters in here have used that. It's just like briefly mentioned, but you like, if you know what The One is about, you know that that's what he's talking about. So I feel like that is how those books are connected. I don't know if characters from The One are actually in this book as well. From my Google searching, they're not connected in that sense. I don't have the time to fit in reading The One because I'm trying to get my TBR to $5.99 by the end of this video. And so I can't just be adding more stuff to my TBR. So otherwise I would read it next and I can verify with you because I'm really, really, really enjoying this book. I love the pacing of it, like in the here and now stuff that's happening with the whole hostages and hacker and this and the other. It's very high stakes, action packed. Things are happening, people are crying, stuff's on fire, like the whole thing. But then a few chapters sprinkled throughout the book is set in the past. Something will be revealed about, you know, Jane Doe's situation in the second car. And then it'll take us back to her past and show us like the truth of what was revealed. And some of these truths, some of these things are, girl, hot tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, I can't stop reading it because I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I am interested in every single page of this book. Interested all around. This could very well be a 5-star book. And welcome to the world's shittiest lighting. Welcome to my little daily book wrap up of The Passengers by John Morris. I am so tired. Can you tell? I can tell. I am very tired. I'm wrapping this up and I'm going to bed, babe. Did I start a book after this? No, because my husband was in here putting together my desk. She's a little cutie patootie. So he's got like the actual desk put together. He's just got to put the drawers together and then in it. And then she's done and she's ready to be used. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about The Passengers by John Morris. I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. This book was so entertaining from page 1 to the very end. I was entertained, let me tell you. There are some topics in this book that was just so interesting to read about, like technology versus humanity, or cancel culture, moral dilemma, trial by social media, what makes a person worthy of saving, and how scary life can get if AI continues to go the way it's going. Let's be real. Anyway, also there was a scene in the book where she was talking about, one of the characters was talking about how she put her kids in the car and sent the car to its destination while she went and continued her work. So there wasn't even an adult in the car. She fully trusted a computer to drive her kids somewhere. I cannot get behind that. No. But I gave it 5 stars. So this is the second John Morris book that I've read, and I've given both of the books that I've read by him 5 stars. Bet your bottom dollar I will be reading more of John Morris. I think the one, I don't have Kindle Unlimited anymore. I canceled it because I think last year I only read maybe like 3 KU books total out of the whole year. What a waste of money, you know what I mean? So I canceled it. Currently, I am reading what is it called? The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Oh my gosh, you know what? Did I talk about that? Oh my gosh, you know what? You know what? I've been sitting here reading The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and that's not even the book that I have on my shelves. So if I would have sat here and finished that long ass book, it would not have done anything to my TBR number, because on my shelf, I have All Roads Lead Here. And I was like, oh, I'll read it on my Kindle. And I'm literally reading, is it called The Wall of Winnipeg and Me? Because they called the football player The Wall of Winnipeg. That's the one that I'm reading on my Kindle. I don't even have it. I might have to DNF it for now. Pick up something else. I'm only like 5% in. I ain't far in. Wow, I would have really royally fucked up if I would have, because I was like, I'm going to spend this weekend just reading that on my Kindle, like rotten in bed. glad I chose not to do that. Good morning, happy Thursday, happy last full day of school to my daughter for kindergarten. Tomorrow they have a half day and then she's officially out for the summer, which is going to make it super interesting for content wise because when they're both home, it gets kind of loud. It's time to pick my next book, and I thought I was going to go with like a Percy Jackson audiobook, but I am shifting gears because a hold came in through my Libby app this morning for a book that is on my TBR. The audiobook itself is less than 6 hours long, and that was the selling factor of why I'm gonna pick that book, because I can get it done pretty quick today and mark another little number off the tally. Which, did I update the tally last night when we finished The Passengers by John Mars? I don't think I did, but we are now at 613 unread books. So we're making some way. Okay, so the book that I'm going to be listening to this morning as I finish making my little new slips for my bookshelf ultimatum jar. Essentially, I just buy fun colored Lego pads, write all the names of the books, cut them out, put them in the jar. I've had people ask, why don't I just do a spreadsheet, make it easier for myself? Why don't I do a spinner wheel, make it easier for myself? Why don't I just document all of my books in Goodreads or Storygraph and make it easier for myself? Listen, that's boring. Why? No, I'm just kidding. I just like the act of like drawing it out of a jar. That's what I like, so that's what I do. That's what we're doing. This time though, you're gonna have to stay on me and be like, Beth, make sure you add your new books to the jar so you don't find yourself 4 months from now having to redo the whole jar. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm gonna finish going through my shelves and writing down all of my unread books while I listen to, because in June, I'm hoping to put out some Bookshelf Ultimatum vlogs. Plural. So, because you've been asking for it, where are the Bookshelf Ultimatum vlogs? They're coming at you in June. I'm also going to be starting a mini Bookshelf Ultimatum series on Instagram Reels or TikTok if I continue the TikTok route. I don't know. I'm still throwing, that's up for debate. Anyway, the book. Let's get to the get it, Fergie. First things first, do not come at me about this book if you do not like this person, because this is a memoir. Is it a memoir? Well, I don't know what it is. When I think of the word memoir, I think dead. Oh, a memoir is like somebody writing that person's life story because that person passed away. But is it also a memoir if the person is still alive? Let me Google. What is the difference between a memoir and a biography? Am I the only person that doesn't know this? I've literally been a reader my entire life and I don't know this. A memoir is written by the subject. Okay, that's all I needed to know. And a biography is written by someone else. Why? It should be swapped. It should be swapped. A memoir sounds like in loving memory. And then a biography sounds like he's filling out his bio. It should be swapped. Okay, so don't come at me though, because when I showed this book on TikTok, I had some rude comments. I had to turn my comments off. Okay? He's a comedian. He made a bad joke a handful of years ago, as most comedians do. So I'm still curious. The book was sent to me by the publisher. Thanks, Bill. And the audiobook is narrated by Matt himself. So I love when memoirs are narrated by the actual person, like the Matthew McConaughey one, the Jessica Simpson one, etc. So I'm excited for this. It's short. It's gonna knock a tally off my TBR today because we're gonna finish it boom bam pow today, and then hopefully get through a few more books, because I do have some other books set aside that are kind of not as short, or some of them are a little short. I don't know. We're thinking we having short book energy. Finish the book. Your Mom's Gonna Love Me by Matt Rife, and I didn't do a check-in, I didn't do a synopsis or anything like that. It's literally Matt Rife just telling you about his childhood, his teenage years, how he was like a weird kid, how he knew he wanted to be a comedian from a young age, how he kind of went through trauma with his family and got attached to his grandpa, how he finally, after years of trying, was able to make it as a comedian and is still constantly trying and saying second guessing himself and blah, 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 blah. Prior to reading this, I didn't know anything about Matt Rife. I do follow him, I think, on Instagram because I think that his skits are quite hilarious. I like to laugh. But now I know a little bit more about him, and I'm not mad that I read it, and I read it. I don't think this is a book that I can sell you on because I feel like it's one of those, if you want to know more about Matt Rife, you'll pick it up. If you don't, you don't. It's no big deal. And that officially puts us at 612 unread books. But while I was browsing the shelves, I did come across this, and I guess I never really read what was underneath the sticker. So while I was flipping through it, I was like, wait a minute, is this literally just quotes from the actual Sherlock Holmes books? It's literally just quotes from the books. I don't need this in book form. If I need to look for a quote, I could easily use Google. Like, I don't need this in book form. I'm never, like, once I get to the Sherlock Holmes books, I do have a bind up. I don't think it's all, or I don't think the first one is there. That's a whole nother Google search for another day. I don't think I'm gonna be like, oh yes, okay, I'm done with the series. Let me go ahead and pick up this book of quotes. Not gonna happen. So I'm gonna unhaul this. 611 is our new number for the TBR. And then while I was also browsing the bookshelves, I saw this. And look how skinny she is. I forgot that I had this. I only have the first one. This is a series that everybody loves, but I only have the first one. I don't think it's going to be a series that I particularly love, which is the reason why I never like finished picking up the series. I did get the first one just to see, and I still haven't seen, i.e. I still haven't picked it up. So we're going to pick this up later, but for now, I'm going to go get my daughter from school. That's what we're going to do. Today was her last full day of kindergarten, and tomorrow she literally goes to school, and then an hour after I drop her off, I gotta be there again to attend her class party, and then I take her home, and hello summer. So literally tomorrow is a pointless day to be at school, but alas. Well, hello. It is Saturday, the 24th. I did no reading at all yesterday. Yesterday was my daughter's last day of kindergarten, and we kind of celebrated throughout the day. Went and did some things, ate dinner, went to the movies, this and the other. It was quite busy, did no reading. Today's the 24th. The last day of the month is next Saturday. Today's Saturday. The last day of the month is next Saturday. I need to fit in a lot of books because we are currently at 611 unread books. I do know that I have a book coming in on Tuesday. It is Stephen King's newest book, Never Flinch. So that's going to make it go up a number. I also know that I'm going to be reading it this week as well. Then I have a book club called Cereal and Milk. I need to message Katie, but I think our live is going to be on the 31st, which is Saturday. So I need to fit in the book club book this week as well because I haven't read it yet, and I don't own it on my shelves. So if I read that book and finish it, it's not going to do anything to my tally because I don't own it. And then like our book club, we go live and talk about it here on my YouTube channel, and it normally lasts a couple of hours, and by a couple I mean like 3, 4. So half of the day is taken up with just that. So here we are. I need to really buckle down. Okay, at this point in time, I do not think we're gonna make it. Should I just go ahead and fail this vlog and call it a day, or should we just give it a good college try? I don't know, but I am here to update you before I go on my little walk. Every Heart a Doorway by Sean and McGuire. I've got to page 73. So almost halfway, right? Almost halfway, 73. And I'm gonna DNF it. I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not loving it. Yes, it's only like 70 some odd pages in. I could see the potential. There's like one side character that I'm really enjoying, but I feel like she's not gonna be here for long. I have not read the synopsis because like literally it's so tiny I didn't want to. But if I don't have any plans to like fully finish the series or continue on in this, I don't have to make excuses. I can be spending my time reading something that I think I'm gonna fully enjoy. So therefore, I'm gonna DNF it. And it's been sitting on my shelf for well over 5 years. I don't think I'll ever be in the mood for this. So it makes sense to me to just, and I feel like I gave it a good try. It makes sense to me to just DNF it. I'm DNFing it. So that actually puts us at 610 unread books because if I'm DNFing it, I'm unhauling it. So there's that. Also, I started my bookshelf ultimatum like mini series on like TikTok / Instagram, and the book that I drew out of the jar, whoa, is this book here, Bathhouse, and I have to read this by Friday. So this is also on the list of books to read. However, I don't think I'm gonna read it today. So this is where the YA books come to die. I hate to say that. There are a few like randomly sprinkled in YA over in the fantasy section, but for the most part, this is like the YA that I have. Also, there's some like right here, YA middle grade. I don't even know what genre this is in. Kind of want to go through a few of these. I think I'm going to start with The Weekend, or that weekend. This one right here. I'm going to start with this one, give this a good old try and see. I think I'm going to go ahead and fully unhaul. It hurts my heart because this used to be like a huge love for me. I want to say when it first came out, I don't know what year it was, like 2013, 14, somewhere around there. I have not read this final book. I don't think I ever will. I don't think I'll ever revisit this series. The only thing that sucks is this first book. The author sent me a copy because I did a review for her and she loved it, and so she wanted to send me a signed copy. What year was this? Wow, 2012. So I've had this for so long. I don't think I'll ever reread that, honestly. So I'm going to unhaul these, and this is going to put me down to 609 because this one is unread. I think I'm going to try these, see if they're good enough to, I don't know. I have attempted to read House of Hollow before. I could not get into it. I kept it because there's so many people who love it. That's a dumb reason, because if I don't love it, just because other people love it doesn't mean anything. You know what? Bless the hardback, because I cannot find my bookmarks anywhere. So I've been having to use the little flap as my bookmark. It works. So, but we're going to talk about That Weekend by Kara Thomas because I did start it and I got a little over 50 pages in. So we have Claire. She's our main character in the perspective that we're in. And then Claire had a boyfriend named Ben, and then a best friend named Kit, and Kit's boyfriend Jesse. Now they were all gonna go on like a double date to the prom, but Ben and Claire have broken up. Kit, Jesse, and Claire decided that they actually don't want to even go to prom because Claire doesn't want to be the third wheel. Kit and Jesse truly don't want to pay the $100 per ticket to go anyway. So then they decide to make a plan, the three, to go to Kit's grandmother's like lake house situation in a town that's like 3.5 hours away from where they live. And this is on a Friday. So they get into the car and they all go there. The book opens up Claire waking up on a dock. Right? A dog is like licking her face or whatever, and the dog's owner sees her and calls for an ambulance because she has blood on her hands. She has no memory, she has no idea why she's there, how she got there, whatever. Long story short, she's at the hospital. It's Sunday, and the last thing she remembers happened on Friday. She's a 36-hour like memory block. She can't remember anything that happened. Not only that, they don't know where Kit and Jesse are. There's no sign of them anywhere. They're not at the lake house. They're not in the woods, or they're hiking in the mountain, whatever. But also Claire has feelings for Jesse, and from what I'm reading, Jesse probably also had feelings for Claire, but he wound up just dating Kit first, and now he's been in this like 2-year relationship with Kit. Before Jesse started dating Kit, Jesse, Kit, and Claire were like a 3-friend group. So like he moved to the school, they became friends with him, they were friends for a while, and then he started dating Kit. Claire has now left the hospital and they're going back to this lake house, and they're going to stay there, one, because they want somebody to be there if Kit or Jesse happen to pop up, and two, maybe being there will spark memories for Claire so they can figure out what the hell happened and where the other 2 kids are. So that's where we're at. And I don't typically like to look at Goodreads reviews of books before I read them anymore, but I did go on there just to peep at all of these YA books, truly, to see not like necessarily the overall rating, but to see what some of my friends on Goodreads have read and said about the books. And a few of them have mentioned that this one either should be classified as an adult and not a young adult, or 2, that the ending goes a little dark. And that makes me really curious, because I feel like with young adult thrillers, the darker they are, like to the point where you're questioning, should this actually be a young adult book, the better they are. So we'll see. So I've officially finished That Weekend by Kara Thomas. Was I satisfied with this book? Not really. I am aware, though, that I am not the target audience for this book. This book is intended for young adults to read. I am still young, okay? I'm just not that young. For me personally, and this goes even with the adult thriller genre, I tend to like darker themes. I like description. I like to see the crime. It seems so dark. I promise I don't want to see crime in real life. I don't know how to explain it. I like darker thrillers. The YA genre that is thrillers don't really hit it on the nail for me. There have been maybe 2 that I have read that just did something for me, but a lot of the other ones that I read have not. It is not the genre's fault. It is not that book's fault. It is not the author's fault. It is just a personal preference for myself. I thought the book was boring. I wanted more details. I wanted more character depth. Thought it was predictable. You know what I mean? Like, but again, for a very young reader, it probably will work. But for me personally, I gave it 2 stars. I don't want to hate read a genre. I don't want to read a book simply to read the book knowing that it's not a genre for me. I love thrillers. I love the thriller genre, just not YA thrillers. So that being said, part of me is like, Beth, just get rid of these. Just unhaul them. I don't think I'm going to keep this one or this one because I have tried to read both of these in the past and I have DNF'd them because I couldn't get into them, but I have held on to them because this cover is absolutely stunning and because so many people love this one. But I just genuinely don't think it makes sense for me to keep these or to, you know what I mean? Really quick, let's back up a little bit. After reading That Weekend by Kara Thomas, that put us at 608 unread books. And I'm gonna go ahead and make the executive decision here to unhaul these 2 books. There are a few other YA thrillers on my shelves. I haven't even given those a shot. I have given these 2 books specifically a shot in the past. I'm gonna unhaul this one, which will then put us at 607 unread books. And then I'm gonna unhaul this one, which is gonna put us at 606 unread books. So we're at 606. Also, a little update. I mentioned earlier, as in like yesterday, that this week I was also going to have to read a book that wasn't on my TBR, which was going to put me behind a little bit because it's my book club's pick for the month of May. However, we're actually going to do the live on the 7th, so I can actually read that book next week. So there is a big chance that I'm actually going to successfully complete this challenge. The other 2 books that I had specifically up here on my desk is this book here, The Mary Shelley Club. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go, whether I reach 40 pages or not, because I just, whatever. And then I also have Hide and Seeker. This is a middle grade book. Also, I was looking, The Project by Courtney Summers. If I have time to get to this one either today or tomorrow, I'll do this one as well. And then Tuesday we'll read the new Stephen King book. Okay, so that's kind of the plans. Actually, I'm going to start with The Mary Shelley Club first. Give that a little try. And then I'll be back to update you there. The fact that it's already nighttime, like I just put my kids to bed, I was so determined to get through a good amount of books today. You know, I was gonna get through a good amount of books. I only got through one, not even through it. I did take a pretty long nap, so that was nice. I also watched a few YouTube videos. I haven't really been watching YouTube this week because in my spare time I have been reading. I also kind of went down a TikTok rabbit hole. I have been watching Labubu content. Don't ask, because I am not in the market for one of those ugly ass things. It just kept coming up on my TikTok page, and then I just kind of got sucked into people unboxing Lafufus, which are the fake Labubus that are going around. People are acting like these are like crack cocaine. What is the deal? What is the deal? It'll really show you how consumerism is in the world now that people are going crazy over these ugly ass keychains. It's bizarre. Anyway, speaking of consumerism, let's talk about this book. Earlier, I know I said that I feel like YA thrillers are not for me, because when I want a thriller, I want specific things, and those specific things are typically not in YA. And it's not a YA, I'm not bashing YA, nothing against YA, it's just a personal preference. That's it. It's just a personal preference. So why am I reading? Why did I put in 170 pages worth of reading time if, you know, I don't know. It's just kind of insufferable. for me. I do not like the main character. I do not like the teenage, like, is it lingo, whatever, I don't know. All the brand dropping. I guess it's like to add filler to the book. She put her brown Yeti cup on the table. She picked up her plaid North Face backpack. She's over there scrolling on her iPhone looking at TikTok. The new Taylor Swift song is playing in the background. This is gonna sound so stupid. I guess I didn't realize this was that recent, because when they started talking about TikTok, I was like, oh, why does it feel like I've owned this book for such a long time? But it also feels like TikTok was just created like a year or two ago. It's 2005, so slow down, time, slow down. And also the main character is like rude to her mom, and that pisses me off. You're still a teenager, girl. You're still in high school. Calm down. So in this book, we have a girl. A year ago, they lived in Long Island. There was an attack, and she wound up having to kill the person who was attacking her, who like broke in her house and was attacking her, and it's like really scarred her. So not only did she use like horror movies to cope with this trauma, but her and her mom also moved from there and moved to New York City just to kind of like start over. So now she's going to this prep school. She's there and she's like making friends and stuff, and these friends are the girls I wouldn't want to be friends with them. Let's just say that. They're like mean girls. Like if you ever watched the movie Mean Girls, you know, the three, yeah, they give me that vibe. Something happens at a seance. People start making fun of our main girl. I don't even remember her name. Rachel. And so now Rachel's just like, well shit, I don't even want to go to school anymore. Just sign me out. I don't want to even be here. Long story short, she meets this guy named Freddie. Freddie has this secret club called the Mary Shelley Club. And what they do in the Mary Shelley Club is they do fear tests on people. Because all the people in the Mary Shelley Club are obsessed with horror movies. The Mary Shelley Club is very secretive. Nobody knows about it. The people in the club, they do not hang out together outside of the club. But in the club, what they do is fear tests. Like for example, one of them will pick their target. The whole group then has to plot and plan to scare this target. For instance, I read one of the fear tests. So one of the guys in the group is constantly bullied by another student. So what they do is they get back at him by going to his house party. His house party, he gets really drunk. Now back on his 7th birthday, he was traumatized by a clown. So he's been terrified of clowns ever since. And one of the members of the Mary Shelley Club knew about it. So what they did was they made it seem like he was hallucinating clowns. They put like music upstairs that only he could hear, because people were drunk and stuff, and then like they were also all in, not everybody at the party, but the group that was there was in on it. They put like bloody footprints, and they put clown nose on people, but then it would like disappear because like they would take it on and off, and the guy was thinking that he was like seeing shit. Scared the crap out of him to the point where he TT'd on himself. That's what they do. So that's essentially it. And I believe from the synopsis what I read was that her past comes back to play, I guess you would say. I would continue on because it sounds such like a good premise of a story and like whatever, but the characters I just don't like. I don't like the writing of like their inner monologues and things like I'm not down. I'm gonna DNF it. Long story short, short story long. I'm gonna DNF it. I made it to page 171. Life is too short for mediocre books. Let's move on. I feel like you're gonna come at me for this, but whatever. So that's gonna put us at 605 unread books. I am back with my shitty overhead lighting, and my blue chair is back. It's been storming all day. It's really dark, hence why I have on the overhead light, because you're not going to get much come from the window. It's Memorial Day. So Paul is actually going to take a half a day off today. He did work this weekend, but that's neither here nor there. You don't care. I've been like cleaning and stuff all this morning. We rearranged the living room. I brought my blue chair back in here. I had that little green chair in here. It's like that teddy bear fabric. It was cute. I was wanting something a little smaller than this blue chair because this room is small, but it was so uncomfortable, too low to the ground. Kaiser could never sit on the back of it, and that bothered him. And so we just decided to get rid of that chair and put the old blue dusty, crusty, and musty chair back in here. My well-loved boo-boo thing. I need to take the green machine and clean it on up, but it's fine. Anyway, while I've been doing all of that this morning, I did pick up the audiobook for Hide and Seeker by Daka Harmon. I'm 40% in. I don't know if it's because I'm just burnt out with young adult / middle grade right now, or if I just am not into it. because I keep zoning out. I'm just not into it, if I'm being honest. This is very much NOS 4A2, but for kids. There are some things that are different, okay? But the whole, a man comes to town to kidnap kids, takes them to a different place, and sometimes they return, sometimes they don't. When they return, they're different. They're moody, they're angry, they break things, they're mad. And there's also another guy who was kind of hired by this, I don't even know what the actual like monster, the seeker is. I don't know if it's like an entity. I don't know what it is, and we haven't got there yet. But a person also was hired by the entity to help do the kidnapping as well. Very similar to NOS 4A2. NOS 4A2 is for adults, written by Joe Hill. It's a horror book. It has those vibes. It does. However, I just don't care. I'm not invested. I don't care. And part of me is like, just continue reading it, because what if this is a book that you want to keep for your kids to read? But another part of me is like, my kids are afraid of the dark. My kids don't even want to watch grown-up movies because they're scared. Like, do you think they're going to be into horror anytime soon? Probably not. And also like the library, you know, if they really want to read this, they can just get it from the library. I think I'm going to unhaul it. I think I'm going to DNF it. And I'm just not into it. I'm truly not into it. That's just that. I do feel really accomplished that I am getting rid of a bunch of books that if I wasn't doing a video like this, I probably would not pull them off my shelf to read. They would probably sit there for eternity just for the sake of, I don't know. You know what I mean? So that puts us now with a total of 604 unread books. For the sake of me and my, like, let's stay out of a reading slump, I am going to pick up an adult book to read. So let me grab it. Let me show you the book room, because I cleaned it up for the most part. I need to put up some decorations, and I need to reorganize my bookshelves, and then I'll do a full, like, little tour. Okay, let me show you. So this room is very tall. I mean, what? This room is very, I was gonna say short. This room is very small, so I can't back up anymore, but I have the bookshelves here. We have my blue chair. That's my stacks. This is where you were just sitting. That's my stacks of books that I am unhauling. Slay. We have my ring light. This, I need to this just whatever, but I do have a desk now. Cute. Here's also my new chair that I got, and she's super comfy. Love her. And then I have this, whatever. And well, I put those pictures there that I'd have to hang up. But my YA section is dwindling down. I think someone is very happy to have his chair back. So the book that I'm going to be reading is Bathhouse by PJ Vernon. Oh, I just love this cover. Like, hello? Hello? And then the book underneath. Hello, it's plain, but it's pink. This is a thriller. This follows a guy named Oliver. And Oliver is a recovering addict. He finally feels like he has his life on track, right? So he's got sobriety, he's got a perfect partner, and a Dr. Nelson something or another who's like a successful surgeon, blah, 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 blah. So then why does Oliver decide to go to this gay bathhouse? Nay. That's not what we do over here, okay? So then he goes to this bathhouse, and a guy takes him to one of the back rooms. I know. Something then happens in the back room, and Oliver like runs out, goes home, whatever, and says Nathan can never find out about this. Meanwhile, he's walking around with this big ass handprint of a bruise around his neck. I want to know what happens. And then it says, what follows is a classic runaway train narrative full of escalations, edge of your seat thrills, and oh my god twists. So we'll see about that. Did I fall asleep on the couch again for 2 hours? I did. I don't know what must be going on. Like, why am I... This is... It's like the 4th day in a row I've taken a nap. You know, it's old age, truly. So I did, in fact, make a little progress in the book before I fell asleep. And so far, all that has really happened is what kind of I explained in the synopsis. We have Oliver. He is in a committed relationship. Nathan is 10 years older than Oliver, and he's off at a convention, you know, for his job as he is a surgeon. I don't know what it is. This man is so stupid because Nathan is off doing this convention. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to this bathhouse. Not only does he go to this bathhouse to go have sex with somebody else, but he also has apps on his phone that he has to like find other men in the area to also have sex with. Like, I don't understand brains like this. I'm sorry if it offends you, but I don't understand it. Why are you in a committed relationship if you want to live that type of lifestyle? Don't be in a relationship. You can be a playa without being in a relationship. To me, it's simple math. I digress. Anyway, we do get both Oliver and Nathan's perspective. So Oliver goes to this bathhouse and he signs in, he pays the yearly fee to be able to go there. He sees a guy and the guy's like, I have a room. So he goes in the back to have, you know, with this blonde-headed tall man with an uncut penis. I don't know why he can't. He constantly mentioned, every time like he mentions this man, he talks about his uncut penis. They're like rubbing on each other, are all sweaty and making out and whatever. And before things get too deep, if you will, dude chokes him. He's on the brim of dying. He's about to like pass out. He cannot breathe. No oxygen is getting to either head, okay? And finally he thinks, oh, let me pull out my locker key and cut a motherfucker. So that's what he does. And the guy lets him go. He runs out of the building. Whatever, goes home. Karma's a bitch, truly. Like, to me, that was karma. But, because you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, anyway. Obviously, I am not rooting for Oliver. Long story short, he has to come up with an excuse for Nathan because he has this big ass hand of a bruise on his neck. So he's trying to think like, what can I do to come up with an excuse as to why I have this big old bruise on my neck? And he comes up with a scheme that instead of saying that he went to this bathhouse and almost got unalived there, he went running, jogging, and got, you know, somebody like stole his wallet. That's his whole thing. So he even like takes clothes and like rubs them in the dirt and whatever to make it look like that truly happened. Nathan's not a fucking dumbass. He's a surgeon. And so he's like, at first he's like, oh, it's kind of funny. You know, you went on a jog at nighttime and they stole your wallet, but they didn't take your phone. It's kind of funny that you went on a jog with your wallet. Like, who brings their wallet on a jog? And that's essentially where I'm at. I am essentially in the part of the book where the synopsis is kind of done. So I don't know, like, what... Oh, okay. So I do know the, like, threat of the thrill is... The threat of the thrill... I hope you understand what I'm saying. So when he's at the bathhouse, the guy that he was gonna, you know, figures out Oliver's name and how to contact Oliver. And he contacts Oliver. And that scares the shit out of Oliver. So Oliver calls the cops and makes a report about him stalking him. So he had to admit to the cop that he was cheating on his partner. Or like going to cheat. Well, it's cheating, babe. If you got the idea and you walked into that building and you paid your little membership, that's a cheater. Cheater. If you even had Meat Locker on your phone, cheater. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Just when I thought the lighting couldn't get worse. It's fine. Last night was rough. Last night was rough, let me tell you. I did read a little bit more of the book. Also, happy Never Flinch release day. Last night was rough. Okay? Started out with the world's worst award show ever. I'm pretty sure the AMAs canceled themselves last night. It was atrocious, okay? They couldn't even get any real celebrities there. Okay, sorry, battery died. Then, after the award show was over with, my husband is like, I'm gonna go take everything out of the backyard and put the car in the garage. And I was like, why? And he says, because the big storm is coming and there's possible chance of tornadoes. Night ruined, because I already know if a big storm is coming, my husband's gotta go to work. And in fact, an hour later, he had to go to work. So I was at home by myself, lights going off and on, off and on, off and on. Where do I go with the tornado? Here, we don't have basements. We don't have cellars. We don't even have the alarms outside. So in order for us to see tornadoes, we have to actually see tornadoes. Like, we can't just depend on an alarm. We don't have that here. And it's pitch black outside because we live in a new community that they don't even have, what is it called? Street lamps up yet. So it's dark outside, okay? There's barely any light pollution here where we live. Terrified. And so I couldn't listen to my audiobook because I was like, if I'm listening to my audiobook, how am I going to hear for the tornadoes? Do I know what a tornado sounds like? No. I've heard they sound like trains, but I don't know. Needless to say, I didn't read, I didn't sleep. nothing last night. That's the reason why I got a monster, because babe, I need this. I am so glad I picked this book up because I needed it. It's gonna get dark. It has to, with what is going on in this book right now, it has to get dark. Listen, this is, when I was reading the YA books, I felt like I was barely talking about them because I just spilt monster all over my leg. I feel like I barely talk about them because there's not really anything, it's just like kids, you know what I mean? But when I'm talking about a thriller that's for the grown-ups and they're juicy drama, there's much to talk about and I am here for it. Can I just tell you one thing? Just one thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you just one thing. I don't know if it's a spoiler because I don't know what's going on in the book. I'm only 33% in, but I just need to tell you one thing. So remember when the guy left the water running in the bathtub and he flooded his bathtub, and so he had to call the person that has been helping them bring this home back to life because they don't want to ruin its history, you know what I mean? Because it's a historic house. So they have like this really professional person that comes and does it. Oliver goes to work and the person that he works for sees the handprint on his neck and she's like, you need to just go home for the day. We have it covered. The nurses will cover your shift. Go home. So he goes home early. When he goes home early, the guy who's fixing the bathroom is still there with the worker. I'll give you 3 guesses as to who that worker is. He's in his house. And then something else happens and I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, but just know there's something else that happens. Is like, yeah, this is going to get dark. It better get dark. It has to get dark because it's not nothing to smile about, Beth. Are you smiling? Let's talk about Bath House because I finished it and I'm still waiting on my package with Never Flench. It hasn't came in yet, but that is fine. So I have some time to talk to you. But so let's talk about this. Anyway, Bath House. I already talked to you about what the book was about essentially, so let's talk about my thoughts. I did think that this book was going to get rather dark because there was something that was brought up. It's kind of comparable to, let's say, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, you know? And so I thought it was going to get pretty dark. And it didn't. That little bit was only put in here to like sway you from thinking, so you know, like from thinking who you thought it was going to be and now you think it's this person because of the thing, whatever. It didn't really get dark. I would say on a dark level, if I had to give it, you know, out of 5 skulls, I would give it 2. There's dark topics, themes, whatever, but it doesn't, you know, whatever. Anyway. So don't pick it up and be like, oh, she said it was going to be so dark. It's not that dark, but it's fast-paced. I was entertained. I wasn't bored at all while I was reading it. The only thing is there was some repetitiveness to the story. The ending, though, was very satisfying. There was a satisfying ending, which is a good thing. The main thing that I just can't get behind are the characters. I didn't like a single one of them, which I already talked about kind of like not really liking Oliver in the beginning, simply because I just can't root for a cheater. So this happened before the book starts. So this is part of Oliver's past, okay? Oliver's mother passed away with cancer, or passed away of cancer. She died from having cancer. It was a few days before she passed away. She was in pain, excruciating pain, on her deathbed. And Oliver decided he was going to steal all of her pain medication and run off and go have sex with some people. And then by the time he came back home, she was gone. So you see what I'm saying? Like, these characters are not likable at all. Literally all they ever think about is sex. And they're not even like 18-year-olds. These are grown-ass individuals, and all they think about is sex. They're having sex, or they're finding someone to have sex with, or they're downloading sex apps, or they're thinking about their partner having sex with someone else, or they're thinking about having sex with somebody else, or they're having sex with their partner while they're pretending like their partner is somebody else. That's all they think about. It's all they talk about is the story. I was just like, can we have any other personality traits? Oh wait, there is this little side sprinkle of drugs. Even Nathan has this hero complex, right? Which is good when you are a surgeon. It's the kind of complex you want to have. However, so that's also why he like was dating Oliver, because Oliver was struggling with a drug addiction. He was stealing from people, this, that, and the other. And so Nathan kind of took him in, and now they're in a relationship and whatever. Meanwhile, if Nathan is not thinking about fucking people, Nathan is also doing the drugs, taking the pills. Like, what a hypocrite, bruh. What a hypocrite. And then the side characters in this story, they're all the same. All of them. Even like Nathan is an educated, top of the line surgeon. Oliver here doesn't have an education really, and then he's working in like a lounge of a medical building, and you couldn't even tell the difference between the two. And like you know what I mean? Like they acted like the same. And I was just like, okay. So just the characters bothered me because I was just I was just like, okay, so none of us are adults here. It was entertaining. It was juicy. It was toxic. Oh, if you love a toxic thriller, this is toxic in all aspects, in all relationships, in all angles. Toxic 100%. I mean, some people love those kind of thrillers. I could have if any of the characters were likable, maybe. I don't know. I digress. So sorry girl. I had debated giving it between a 3 and a 4. All of that to say, I did not hate this book. I just couldn't get over the fact that they wouldn't shut the fuck up about having sex. Like, we get it. You like to have sex. You don't have to, just whatever. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, I think. Now, let's talk about, that puts me at 603 unread books. We are so close. When my package gets here though, it will go back up to 604. I don't have Never Flinch with me because again, my package is out for delivery. I am gonna use an Audible credit and get it. I have been using my Audible credits mostly for Stephen King books because my husband is a reader as well, and he also enjoys Stephen King, and he listens to audiobooks at work occasionally. And did you know, here's my little tip. So I have my own Amazon account, like under my email, my orders. I don't see any of my husband's information on there, whatever. My husband has his own Amazon account. So I had mine before I met my husband, same thing for him. And then when we became committed, we did the family plan that they have. So like our accounts are linked in that sense. If I have an Audible account and I am buying audiobooks and he has an Audible account and he buys audiobooks, I can also listen to his books that he has bought, and he can listen to the books that I have bought. Like it puts our library together. I'm not saying go out and like get a family plan with your best friend and maybe save you some money because y'all will be sharing audiobooks. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, if you want to save $1, if you want to save some coin, and you have a friend, like a close friend that reads with you, or a partner, like you can't access their address or their debit card information or their orders or anything like that. You can just access their audiobooks. And like movies, like if I buy a movie from Prime Video, my husband can also watch it on his account. But other than that, there's my little tip. I've truly spent too many days coming on here looking like a gremlin. Somebody tomorrow remind me, Beth, you need to get dressed so you can film some content. It's fine. We have Never Flinch. I am about a quarter of a way into this one, and so far so good. So far I like it. It is your typical Stephen King book, I guess you would say. If you are familiar with the Holly Gibney series, it literally just picks up, you know. We are following 2 different storylines in here. So one of them I like more than the other, but I wonder if they're going to intertwine in any way. I guess I'll find out once I get further into the book. But I did want to say, so this came in the mail, right? So that put our number up to 604 unread books on the TBR. Today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday evening. There's no way I'm going to finish this before I go to bed tonight. I'm not that fast of a reader. It's Tuesday evening, and the last day of May is Saturday. So I have all of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so 4 days, to not only finish Never Flinch, but to also read or DNF 4 other books in order to reach the goal of $5.99. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like we're running out of time. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but we're gonna give it our all. And give it our best. I do have a few short stories I guess I could do to like cheat the system. I mean, they're counted in my TBR, so technically I would say it's not cheating the system. Or I could pick books up that I think I might DNF anyway. We'll see what we do. Let us go ahead and talk about the book Never Flinch. So far, I will say I'm a quarter of a way in. It has only technically spoiled Holly, like the book Holly, just so you know. So the first storyline, we follow Detective Izzy, and then we also follow Holly. They are friends now, and I really like their like friendship together and like just the way that they vibe together. So there's a letter, and it's also printed on the back here, from someone by the name Bill Wilson, and it essentially says that he's about to go out there and kill 13 innocent people and 1 guilty person. So heads up. This is not fun. It's not a funny matter. And this is all done for a retribution of a past injustice. And then that's where Izzy goes to her friend Holly for like secret help. So the police department and stuff doesn't know that Holly is actually helping Izzy figure this case out before this vigilante goes out there and does what he promised to do. So at the same time all of that is going down, Holly is also being hired to protect this lady named Kate. Kate is a feminist activist, and she's being targeted by someone, both Kate and Kate's assistant. So the first situation that went down, somebody ran up to Kate's assistant thinking it was Kate and had a bottle that said acid, and she slung it on her. Turns out it wasn't acid, it was just bleach, but can you imagine how horrifying that could have been? And then there have been a few other incidents, and so they were like, you know what, we're not going to be paying these retired officers to keep failing at protecting us. Let's hire someone who knows how to do the damn job. And so that's where Holly Gibney comes in. So they hire Holly to protect Kate. We also get a few different perspectives in the book as well. They're not like super main characters, but they are, you know, thrown in the book. So we get some perspective of Trig. Trig is the guy who wrote this note and is going around doing the stuff. You learn very early on that's who Trig is, like in chapter 1, so that's not a spoiler. And then we also get a little bit of Barbara's perspective. I think that's about it, what I can tell you without really spoiling anything. Now, this is a Stephen King book, so we do go into some psychological depths of the characters, and we have a lot of pretty dark themes in this book already, just 25% in. And you know Stephen King, he does use fiction to explore real life issues, so just be wary of that. There's not a ton of COVID talk in here, but you do have to understand that Holly Gibney is a hypochondriac. It's not as talked about in this book as it is in Holly, but she does just mention putting on a mask. Yes, whatever. I just wanted to mention that because I don't want y'all to pick up the book and be like, ugh, she steered me wrong. I'm telling you right now, it's Stephen King. If you've read Stephen King, more specifically his newer work, you know he loves to involve real life into his books. It is what it is. I like wearing lipstick until after I've been wearing it and talking for a little bit, because then it gives butthole. It's giving butthole. Okay, in non-anus related news, I am a little over halfway into Never Flinch by Stephen King, and I can't really dive into too much of the actual story because, again, I don't want to spoil anything for you. I will say this. So yesterday when I updated you, I told you at that point the only thing it spoiled was Holly. Now that I am a little over halfway, it has spoiled the ending of the Bill Hodges trilogy, which if you've read the Bill Hodges trilogy, you know that you don't want to be spoiled to the ending of the Bill Hodges trilogy. You want to go in and read that and experience it. Just trust me. You just want to, okay? And then it also spoils The Outsider. So if you at all want to read any of those, I would read this after. Read them in order. What a concept. I love the fact that not only are we in the perspective of sleuths, both professional ones and amateur ones, we also get the perspective of the villains. Okay, when you first go in, you do get the perspective of the serial unaliver. You do get the perspective of the person that is taunting the feminist speaker, but you don't know who they are and what role they play, in the sense like you don't know, is it the neighbor that's doing it? Is it the dentist that's doing it? Is it the teacher that's doing it? Is it a scorned boyfriend? Like, you don't know. I know now. We just are like, it just became revealed. It just revealed it. Whatever the fuck. You get what I'm saying. But I just love the fact that we get their perspectives as well. Because not only do you get to see like behind the scenes and like how they're choosing their victims, why they're doing this, what made them, you know, become the person that they are. It's really hard to talk about stuff without spoiling anything. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. There's no little update on that. I did spend quite a bit today filming some TikToks, like planning them out, making the list and filming them. I feel like here on YouTube, I can be more myself and be a little laid back and whatever. But then on TikTok, I feel like it feels different over there. I feel like I have to be somewhat robotic, if that makes sense. It's like, here are 5 books that are really gonna gross you the fuck out. Book number 1, The Fourth Monkey Trilogy by J.D. Barker. Book number 2, Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. Book number 3, The Troop. You know what I mean? And it's like, it just feels robotic, and I don't know how to break out of that and how to make it just feel personal, because I feel like it's harder to connect with someone who comes off robotic. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just being too hard on myself. Who really knows? But there's my update for this. I'm going to go and continue on. I'm actually going to swap back to the audiobook for a little bit if I can find my place. Because with Stephen King, his chapters, I don't know what they are called. I don't know like the actual definition. But you know, he has like a main chapter, but in that chapter there's like 20 little chapters. That's how he does his books, and he's done that from the beginning. So I have to figure out, like, that's why it's hard to navigate when you're flipping from a Stephen King physical to audio, but we'll figure that out and we'll get it going. And you know, if the next time you see me I am back in my jams, a girl's gotta live, okay? It's the fact that it's 7:30 in the morning and here I am once again. I'm torn into pieces, can't deny. I don't know, you know? It's 7:30 in the morning. It's 7 o'clock on the, whatever. I finished Never Flench last night. Kinda late, so I didn't update you last night because I finished it in bed. And Paul was already asleep, and I was just like, you know what? Good night. I will say this. If you are a fan of King's character, Holly Gibney, you're gonna like this book. If you are a fan of his crime books, crime thrillers, psychological suspense type books, you're gonna like this one. If you are a fan in which narratives explore the themes of societal issues, trauma, justice, you're gonna like this one. If you are a sensitive reader, especially to religious extremism, violence, stalking, things like that, you're probably not gonna like this one. If you are a fan of Stephen King's work that specifically has supernatural elements in it, you're probably not gonna like this one. If you are a fan of mostly Stephen King's fantastical work or nostalgic work, you're probably not gonna like this one. Okay, capiche? Let me tell you, I even read the author's note at the end of the book. First off, respect for Stephen King, because you should probably just read the author's note, okay? But also, he wrote this in 2023, right after he had hip surgery. I didn't even know he had hip surgery. I was wondering why he was walking around with a cane for a while. He had hip surgery. So my all-in-all rating for Never Flench is going to land at a 4.5 star. That puts us at 603 unread books. It is Thursday, so I have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to read 4 more books. And I was watching yesterday somebody's reading vlog, like their 24-hour reading vlog, because I do enjoy those. And people be reading like 6 books in 24 hours. If that could be me, I would have been finished with this a long time ago. So I do need to figure out 4 books. I do have a couple of super tiny books, but I'm just not in the mood for them right now. That's so silly, because I could literally probably read like 3 or 4 of them today and be done with this. Okay, I'm not saying these are the books that I'm officially going to read to finish this vlog out. I'm saying these are candidates. I don't know if I'm going to be in the mood to fully get to all of these today, but I really want to read this. So I have this physically on my TBR, but I saw it on like Kindle sale for $1.99 and I snatched it up because I don't know what it is. I just love to read on my Kindle, especially in the evenings, and that's typically when I read romance. But I might make an exception for that today and just read it today. Then we have this. This is a novella to The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. This is called Last Breath, and it is roughly like 130 pages. And then I have Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. I don't even know what this is about, but that's what happens when, you know, you buy a book. 131 pages. And then I have Martin Misunderstood by Karen Slaughter. This is just a random short story. I know there's part of Fractured in the back. I've already read Fractured. 147 pages. I know that Karen said this is supposed to be like a funny short story. You don't take it seriously. So this is probably like her lowest rated book. I'm so kind of nervous about that. But I have these. We'll see what we get up to today. I think I'm going to start though with this book, and I'm probably just going to lay in bed and rot for an hour or two and make my way into it after I go make my kids breakfast though. So that's first on the docket. I think I'm about to set up some reading sprints on my YouTube channel because today is just one of those days where I don't really feel like reading. I just want to, I've actually been in the mood to watch Criminal Minds, and that's what I want to do, is go binge a season of Criminal Minds for the next day or two. Or I also have been thinking about watching a movie or something. I don't know. I'm just, you know, but I'm going to commit to the bit. I'm going to commit to the bit because I don't have an audiobook going. I really need something to push me to like sit down and read. So I think I'm going to turn on some reading sprints. But before I do that, I want to update you on First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I am 25% into this. I am reading it on my Kindle, but I am having a good time so far. Like, it's a good setup, I think. We haven't really got to any of like the cutesy, sweet, romantic kind of stuff, but we'll get, which is fine because I do love a good slow burn. I don't really like it to just be like bam, and then we're just reading about these people in a relationship. Let's talk about what this book is about really quick before I dive on to some reading sprints. So the book opens up with Aiden Valentine. He is a radio host, and it's like a romance show. I think it's called Heartstrings, and it's done late at night, like 10 p.m. on. Aiden is kind of burnt out on love. The radio show has kind of taken a different turn, where most of the people that are calling in to complain about the relationships or complain about trying to get into a relationship, this, that, and the other. Until one night when a little girl named Maya, who is 12 years old, calls up to Aiden and talks to Aiden about helping her mom with her mom's dating life because she feels like her mom is lonely. Her mom overhears her. Lucy is her mom's name. She overhears her daughter on the phone when her daughter's supposed to be asleep, and she like bashes into the room, and come to find out they put the mom on the phone, and the mom just Lucy, she just kind of lets it all out and talks about how she's not tired of dating, she's just tired of not being enough for someone. She's tired of having to try. She's tired of there not being magic anymore in romance and stuff like that. And the world just kind of falls in love with Lucy and relates to Lucy. And so they go from having like 12 listeners a night to millions because her little clip went viral. Now the studio has called up Lucy and has asked Lucy to join Aiden on the show. Just like a little short run to like satisfy the viewers, because they're all, not viewers, Beth, the listeners, because they're all calling in wanting to know more about Lucy, more about her love life. Is she dating now? Because it's been like a week or so. And so they convinced Lucy to go up there, and Lucy has agreed. So the thing is with Lucy's 29 years old. She has a 12-year-old daughter. However, the 12-year-old daughter was conceived, first off, the night she lost her virginity is the night that she conceived her daughter. And the person who her daughter's dad is, wow, Beth, put words together. Anyway, they were never really in a romantic relationship. They were in more of like a platonic romantic, like she loves him, but in a friend way. They were never really like romantic. They were just young and dumb and had sex. However, they now live next door to each other. They are very good at co-parenting. The dad is actually in his own relationship, happy, healthy, this, that, and the other. And he kind of got upset with Lucy because he's like, if you felt, why didn't you come to me? I'm your best friend. Like, if you felt this way, you could tell it to a stranger, but you can't talk to me about it. Like, whatever. Like, that's how close they are, which is so nice to read about. So now Lucy, the part that I left off at, she is up there at the radio station, and I think this is she's about to go on air for the first time with him. So I'm very curious as to how this plays out. Obviously, it is a romance novel. We are guaranteed a happily ever after. So we know that Lucy and Aiden fall in love. Aiden no longer believes in love, and I think he wants Lucy to help him believe in love again by him helping Lucy find a date. That's where we're at, and that's where I'm at. I do feel like this has helped me not impulse buy books because I really want to reach the $5.99. However, I fear that when I do reach the $5.99 and the calendar flips over to June 1st, I might make up for lost time. I hope not. I hope not, because I think it's, let me check. I don't have my phone. I think it's been a year, not a year. When did I first start book balancing? Let me get my phone. Okay, I started it in August with 733 unread books. So it hasn't even been a year yet. And I am hopefully going to be down by the end of this video to $5.99. And considering that I haven't, I said in that first little TikTok that I was going on a book buying ban, but not like full blown. I was gonna allow myself like a book or so a month. I did not follow along. I actually forgot I said that. There were some months where I hauled like 14, 15 books. So the fact that I went from 733 to what I'm hoping is gonna be $5.99, and it hasn't even been a full year yet, I feel very proud of that. I still to this day get mean comments. I delete them for the most part. Some of them are still up, but I still are like sarcastic comments on that little TikTok, like, and then people are like, how does this even happen? Babe, I have been reading my whole life. What do you mean, how does this happen? Do you not know what a store is? Do you not know what grown-up money is? What do you mean, how does this happen? I buy the fucking books, girl, or they're sent to me, or I'm thrifting. If I am out thrifting and I see 6 Stephen King books in hardback edition and they're in pristine condition, I'm gonna buy all fucking 6 of them. I don't care about my TBR. Like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't, like, I have unread books. It's fine. Look, it could be drugs. So I am 36% into this book. We did get carried away there talking for a little bit. I feel like maybe I would probably read more without the reading sprints. I don't know, but it's been fun. Anyway, I'm 36% in, and I know that this story has to be Aiden and Lucy falling in love. But now we have this other man entering the chat, and he brings his, so Lucy works as a mechanic at a car shop, and this really tall, blonde, handsome man comes in and starts flirting with her. And she's mean to him at first, and he's like, I think I just fell in love with you. She's got to fall in love with Aiden, right? Because I love their little chemistry. And so the whole purpose for Lucy going on the show is for them to find her a date. But it's like Aiden has been essentially cock blocking her. Anytime she's like starting to converse with somebody on the phone, he like hangs up on them, whatever. Even his boss is like, you're a horrible wingman. You're a horrible wingman. You won't let this woman talk to anybody. She's supposed to be going on a date, and it's been 2 weeks and nothing. So... And I think he's doing it because he low-key has feelings for her, and nobody's gonna be good enough for him because he wants to be with her. He hasn't admitted it yet, said it out loud, but obviously we know. I'm afraid I love this book too much. This book was perfect. I have been ugly crying for the last 10% of this book, okay, because of how perfect it was, and it ended so well. Like, I know they say this is like inspired by maybe Sleepless in Seattle. I've never watched it, so I should. But reading this, I could fully 100% picture this as a movie. The ending was just, it's perfection. This is just love it so much. So now that I have cleaned myself up a little bit, my face is a little less puffy from crying. I don't it was so good. Like, I literally cannot think of a single negative thing about this book. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I loved the fact that there was only one true sex scene, because sometimes these books be overdoing it. And I love the fact that it waited until like 80% of the book, because I want, like, you know, the tension and the angst and like the longing and the confessions of love. And I loved it so much. And I loved the fact that we got a lot of Aiden's perspective. You know, I was sitting here thinking, I was like, why aren't there many books, like romance books, that are just in the male's perspective? Because, you know, you do get romance books that have alternating perspectives like this one here, and you get romance books that just have the female's perspective. But if you are an author and you can successfully write a book in the male's perspective like she did Aiden, because the way, like, I don't know what it is, but he was in love, and my heart hurt for him. And I was like, it could work if you could do it right and make us believe that that man is in love. It could work. I love this book so much, and there's a sequel coming out. I think it's coming out in February. I don't even know who it's about. And I loved all of it. I loved all of the characters, not just Lucy and Aiden, but I also loved Maya. I loved the two dads. I loved Jackson, and just every single one of them. Patty. The book was good. Zero complaints. Oh, it says the second book, And Now Back to You, is inspired by When Harry Met Sally. And the third, which is to be released in 2026, is inspired by You've Got Mail. The second book, we're following Jackson and Delilah. I don't recall meeting Delilah, but there was mention of Delilah. She works in the office. So, or she works like in the same building as he works at. Whatever. But it follows Jackson, who is the weatherman, the radio show's weatherman in First Time Caller. I'm ready for it. We're ready for it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm so excited. Okay, so finishing First Time Caller, which obviously 5 stars, I am now at 602 unread books. And if you can't tell, today is a new day. It is Friday. The last day of the month is tomorrow, so I need to read 3 more books. 3! And it's not even early in the morning. It's literally 2:11. So you know, because life and stuff, we went to lunch and whatever today, so that took up a lot of time. So I've got to really be picky. I thought about browsing my bookshelves and seeing if I can't find a book or two to unhaul to help move. I might do that. Do not tempt me. I might do. That's cheating, huh? I don't know. But I did start this book this morning. So this is Martin Misunderstood by Karen Slaughter. Logged into my husband's Spotify account. We have a family plan on Spotify. You know, we're just trying to save some coin here and there with these family plans. So we have a family plan with Spotify. With the 15-hour of audiobook situation, if you are in a family plan, only one member of your family plan gets allotted the 15 hours. And everybody else just gets to cry about it, I guess. So my husband doesn't use Spotify for books. So I will occasionally, if I remember, log into his account to use them. And so I am listening to this on Spotify. Thank you, Paul. And it is a 2-hour audiobook. So I am about 25% in. I just listened to it earlier to get dressed. And I can't even tell you like what the plot of this teeny tiny story is. It is not rated well on Goodreads. So I don't really have high hope, truly. So I know our man, his name is Martin, and he still lives with his mother. He's a grown man, and he works at this toilet supply company. It's like a small town, and a lot of the people that he went to high school with also work at this toilet supply company. Not only was he bullied in high school, but they still bully him even as grown-ass adult. Like, grow the fuck up. You are a fully grown, your brain is fully done, grow the fuck up, quit bullying people, but they still do. And it's just, there's nothing really like, somebody carved the word twat in the paint of his car. He also just hired a new person at the place today, and she seems like a hoot and a holler, and her name is Unique. Police detectives show up at his job, and he's like, you know, is this about like my car, my keyed car? And she's like, oh no, we need some ID because they don't just send detectives up in here with no ID for a keyed car. And she's like, oh, homicide? Y'all from homicide? So that's kind of where I'm at. On the back here it says, literally I don't know what's going on in the book and I'm 25% in. On the back here it says, crime fiction obsessed Martin Reed is the proverbial butt of everyone's jokes. Working as a glorified accountant at Southern Toilet Supply and still living with his mother, he has become resigned to the world in which he lives. The school bullies now pick on him in the workplace. His arch enemy is now his supervisor. Then he arrives at work one morning to find the police on site. A coworker has been brutally murdered. Okay. And her body was abandoned in a ditch. And the overwhelming evidence points to Martin, especially when he can't or won't admit that he has an alibi. Then a second victim is found in the company's bathroom. And things really conspire against Martin. Okay, so that's kind of what we're dealing with here. Good to know. Good to know. Who is Danielle Steele's current husband? Danielle Steele's current marital status is divorce. Her most recent marriage was to a man named Ian Matthews, which ended in 2022. She was married to Claude Eric Lazard, Danny Zugelater, William George Toth, John Trania, and Thomas Perkins before that. Danielle Steele, a romance author, has been married 6 times. She's currently divorced. And 2 of those people she married after meeting them while they were in prison. I'm sorry. A romance author, you would think she would have like found the love of her life by now, but I'm not judging. Or am I? Okay, I just finished this book, Martin Misunderstood by Karen Slaughter. Don't ask me what I read, because I'm still conflicted. It's one of those kind of books. I gave it a 3-star. It's nothing to write home about. It's kind of off the wall. It's very off the wall. But Karen Slaughter talks about Danielle Steele in here and how Danielle Steele has been married to 2 people that were in prison. Like, she met them while they were in prison because she was up there doing interviews, I guess, for books. The audiobook was very interesting, okay? Because it's narrated by a man, because we're in Martin's perspective, obviously. And he goes to this massage place, if you catch my drift, okay? And while she is massaging him, the narrator is, he gets into it, babe. Okay. So that puts me at 601 unread books. 601. I'm gonna start this next. Still, you know, pulling it up on Spotify. It's on there, and I'm gonna listen to it. I've read one other Stephen Graham Jones book. I didn't really like it. Honestly, I didn't really like it. It is The Chainsaw. My Heart is a Chainsaw. I do want to reread it and give it another go, because I think the time that I read it was just a bad time, or I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't even know what this is about. Night of the Mannequins. I got it thrifted, okay? I need to do my nails. I haven't had them unpainted. I do gel nails in a while. They just needed a breather, so I've been letting them breathe for the past couple of days, but I need to go ahead and do them because it's grossing me out. We thought we'd play a fun prank on her, and now most of us are dead. One last laugh for the summer as it winds down. One last prank just to scare a friend. Bringing a mannequin into a theater is just some harmless fun, right? Until it wakes up. Until it starts killing. It's very little, very short, 130 pages. So I'm gonna get going on this, and if I can finish this today, it'll put me at 600, and all I'll need to do is read or unhaul one more book. I can see the end. See, what happened was I went on some errands, okay? I went on some errands. And by errands, I mean we went to TJ Maxx, we went to Target, we went to Taco Bell, and then we came home. And so that's why it's like really dark outside. Otherwise, I feel like if I wouldn't have went all those places, because those places are like 35-40 minutes away from us, I would have already been dead. Alas. I did start this when we got back, and I made it to 26% in, and I'm just so bored. I don't care about the story. It's just, I'm bored and it's boring, and I know I don't like to do this, but I went on to Goodreads and I looked at like some friends on there and what they thought about this book, and it's like 2-star, 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 DNF, 2-star, and I'm just like, this is my sign. The only so like if I were to continue on, there's a huge chance that it's not going to get a high rating. I'm going to DNF it and unhaul it anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and DNF it and unhaul it. That didn't make sense. If I were to continue on and finish the book, there's a big chance I'm going to rate it low and then wind up unhauling it anyway. Or I can just DNF it and unhaul it anyway. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it and I don't care. Yeah, I don't read too much. I say this. I do read Stephen King, but I feel like in my brain, Stephen King is his own genre, if that makes sense. But I don't read a ton of horror anymore anyway. I used to read it quite often, but it's definitely not a genre that I am constantly reaching for. There are a couple of authors that I'm like, okay, yes, a new book by them, let me get it. But other than that, I'm not, you know, so it doesn't hurt my feelings. So there's that. So that's, I am so tired. I am tired. Can you tell? I can tell. That puts me at 600 unread books total. You know what that means? I got one more book to read. One more book to read. And I can end this. Or I can look at my shelves and find a book that I think I'm probably never going to read, and I can just unhaul it and we can call it a day, because that'll put me at $5.99. Because I'm feeling really burnt out, I'm not gonna lie to you. I could sit here and read this book here, but feel like I'm gonna wait on that. And I think I'm gonna browse my bookshelves, because I'm looking over here and I'm seeing a few that deep down I don't think I'm ever gonna read them. And they were sent to me and I just put them on my shelf because they were sent to me. That's a dumb excuse. Don't be like me. Let's go look. Don't be mad that I'm doing this. I read a lot in this vlog, but let's go look. So a lot of these books down here, I think this is the one that I am going to get rid of. I don't think I wanted to really keep it when it came in, but I wound up keeping it anyway. But I don't think I'll ever read this. It's called Beach House Rules by Christy Woodson Harvey. And the synopsis just sounds over the top. And it's like a mother-daughter duo. They go to this Airbnb or something like that because they're kicked out of their house because the husband got locked up for some CEO crime or something. I don't know. I'm not ever going to read. Like, let's be real. Does this look like a Beth book? No. I didn't forget I was filming a video. My daughter paged me right after that last clip, so I went to go fix her thing. And then I just was like, okay, well, let me go put on my jams and take out my contacts. And then I realized, I was like, wait. Let me go wrap this video up so I can spend the next 7 business days editing this. It's been a long time. I feel like I've been filming this all year long. So, we are unhauling Beach House Rules. And I could have did this early on in the video and went through and unhauled like 5, 6, 7 books. I feel like I did okay with the unhauls and it wasn't too crazy. Okay? Yeah. So, this puts me, drum roll please, 599 unread books. Okay. I'm gonna keep trucking on. Not this month. Tomorrow's the last day of the month, and we have a farmer's market in the neighborhood, like in our little subdivision. It's like their first one, and then we're gonna go do that in the morning, and then we have a birthday party. My neighbor, their daughter's having a birthday, and we got invited, so we have that in the afternoon. So I really don't have time to read tomorrow anyway, so I had to wrap it up today, and it was a win, ladies and gents. So there you go. Let's look at the wrap up sheet right here. Okay, so what did I vlog? Where did I start? Let me rewind the bean footage. Hang on. Okay, so we started the vlog at 616 unread books. And then I read Watching You by Lisa Jewell, which put me at 615. I then acquired The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which put me back up at 616. I then read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, 615. I read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, 615. 614. I read The Passengers by John Mars, 613. I read Your Mom's Gonna Love Me by Matt Rife, 612. I decided to unhaul Wit and Wisdom of Sherlock Holmes, so 611. I attempted to read, but then DNF'd Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire, and this put me at 610. I decided to unhaul The Darkest Legacy. This put me at 609. I read That Weekend by Kara Thomas, 608. I then decided to unhaul The Honeys, 607. And then House of Hollow, 606. I then DNF'd and am going to unhaul The Mary Shelley Club, 605. I also DNF'd and am unhauling The Seeker, 604. No, Hide and Seeker, 604. I read Bath House, 603. I then acquired Never Flench by Stephen King, puts us back up at 604. But then, and this is rare for me, I read Never Flench, which put us back down to 603. I then read and became obsessed with First Time Caller, and this put me at 602. I then read Martin Misunderstood, 601. I DNF'd and am going to unhaul Night of the Mannequins, 600. And I am unhauling Beach House Rules, which puts me at 599. And that, my friends, is a wrap. I'm going to bed. Have a good night.